Greetings and, of course, shalom to you, wonderful saints of Yahweh. What a glorious day this is, as it continues to be the day that Yahweh has made. We are encouraged as saints to rejoice and to be glad in it. And that's exactly what we ought to be doing. I am definitely overjoyed to have the opportunity to sit here with you, to always engage you, especially in matters regarding wisdom and the saints. Today you will hopefully understand why it's so important and so critical for us to engage in such discussions. Of course, I greet you bidding you shalom, which speaks to that peace that Yahweh gives to us that guarantees that it is always well. As you join the broadcast, please indicate to me whether you can hear me clearly and you're also able to see me clearly. Of course, I'm not in studio today, but we're still here. So please indicate whether you can hear me clearly. You can also see me clearly. I'll not be before you long. I have to travel. But I intend to deliver to you that which the Spirit of Yahweh has commanded me to. Thank you so much, Denise, for the feedback. I appreciate it. And I bid you all shalom. You must have that assurance that it's always well. Please share the broadcast with someone you know who's not here with us, or tag them, whatever you do. Text them something. Just let the saints know that we're here, because I know that you've been waiting. I was setting up, so I'm now ready for us to roll, as they would say. Yahweh is good, and his mercies endure forever. Blessings and shalom to all of you. See Andrew and everyone else, my son Pastor Reginald, and all of you, the apostles, the saints, shalom and blessings. I must also this time take the time to say thank you to those of you who are so kind and generous to me, to my family. You ensure that we are taken care of. You ensure that we are, in whatever way, we are supplemented by your kindness. And for that, I remain grateful. Thank you. And the reason why that is done is because it's a commandment that you're obeying, which is those who speak to you that which is spiritual. You are instructed according to Yahweh's word to give to them that which is tangible. So I would not be a hindrance to your being obedient. However, what I do not do is ever seek to compel anybody and say you have to do anything. I have never done it, neither will I ever do it. To say that you have to and you have to and give labels to it as seed and fruit, and it wouldn't happen, because I don't eat money, so money cannot be food for me. Okay? However, this day is one in which we are supposed to speak to wisdom appointed saints live. Wisdom appointed saints live. You also know that I don't wait for numbers to build and for us to get to whatever number of views and viewers. I really don't have the time for that. But I understand, as I said, that there's some saints who may have been waiting. They may have turned to get something done, and I'm here. So I'll just, as always, speak to you, and then we get right into the matter. In other housekeeping matters, we've got the Core Ministries International Georgetown Center, which will now be East Coast, because we're out of Georgetown. So it's Core Guyana. On the East Coast, we're already in Linda with Apostle Thomas, and now we're going to have the Fellowship Center constructed on the East Coast of Demerara. We would not be taking a loan from the bank, and the bank hold the transport. And then we say that God has blessed us with a building. It doesn't work like that. It will never be that way. We are not going to do that. We are not going to have barbecue sales, and we're not going to have cake sales and stuff like that, and command that every saint must give whatever sum it is to this project. It is not going to happen. We will prove to those who have got so many negative things to say about us that our God, Yahweh Elohim, will provide, because we need a facility, since it's important for us to gather as saints. He did say that you must not forsake the assembly. You must not forsake getting together with one another, because ideally the world is supposed to hate the saints so much. In the house of God, we cannot build anything called the house of God. No brick and mortar, no wood, no structure built by man's hand is the house of God. Even in your erroneous Bibles, you're lying. The church that you go to is not the house of God. Shalom, Jolana. Genesis sends of love, her love. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And mine is being returned, of course. Blessings and shalom to all of you. So we're not building the house of God. We're building a place where saints will get together to fellowship. That's all there is to it. And that'll be on the east coast of Demerara, okay? So that's what it is. So we've got electricity. We've got water supplied. So now all we have to do is get ourselves to the site and begin to work, which is what will happen, okay? We also continue to, and I'm saying this publicly, our brother, Pastor Robert, is with Yeshua HaMashiach. He went to be with the Lord, as they would say. And he has left a widow indeed, being our sister Nicole. He has left a widow indeed, meaning she got a man, she doesn't have a boo, she doesn't have a bae, she doesn't have a pumpkin, she doesn't have anything that you're callable to speak to. So it's our responsibility to take care of her, and we shall build a house for our sister as a testimony to the faithfulness of our brother. Let the world talk. They'll see how it's done. We will build a house for our sister so that she can enjoy herself in her old age. As she gets old, I should say. She's not old now. Okay? So those of you who would like to contribute in the US, of course, you get to Pastor Mel and you speak to her, you make that contribution there, it'll get to us. In Guyana, you speak, of course, to Apostle Thomas, you have Apostle Joshua, you have me. I really don't deal with money. Not because I'm dishonest, but I just understand how the world is and how people are. So I direct you to others deal with the church's finances. Okay? You've got Apostle Thomas, to whom you can speak. You have Sister Sanetta and others. You can reach out to them and you can make the necessary donations. Saints have already been doing that since our brother have been to be with Yeshua HaMashiach. So there are two projects we're working on. One would be to build a house for our sister, and the other one would be to complete the fellowship center in Paradise. Okay? Blessed be the name of Yahweh. Proverbs chapter 8. Wisdom and the saints. And today we're speaking to wisdom appointed saints live. In Proverbs 8, verse number 30. Verse number 30, I was saying 22. Let's start at 30. Proverbs 8:30. Reads, I was with him. Well, let's go to verse 22. Let's go to 22. Proverbs 8:22. Wisdom speaking. This is called personification. Where wisdom, which is an attribute that Yahweh possesses and every saint should have, makes herself a person and speaks. So wisdom said, Shalom, Apostle, I say Apostle, Shalom, Brother Ronald, Shalom and blessings. Wisdom says, Yahweh made me as the beginning of his work. Yahweh made me as the beginning. Thank you, Apostle T. Sister Pamela, another Shalom. Yahweh made me, said wisdom, as the beginning of his way, the first of his ancient works. I was appointed before the start, or before the world, before the start, before the earth's beginning. Wisdom was appointed before the world began. We touched on this last week. We pick up from here and then we continue. I can hear the monitor outside, y'all. Wisdom was appointed as an attribute of Yahweh. So before creation began, the first thing that Yahweh presented about himself was wisdom. Simone wanted another Shalom. It is important for every saint to be reminded of this, that the example that Yahweh set for us was that as soon as he was prepared to make anything, he first of all presented the characteristic of his that spoke to wisdom. Wisdom is found in our Creator and before creation. What do you possess when you think about anything that you want to start in life? What's this? If I speak to saints and I say to them, do you have any idea about having a business or being self-employed? They'll say yes. And their intention, more often than not, very often, is what they can make in reference to economic gains or financial improvement of their lives. So the first thing they think about is how much money they can make to get themselves out of financial rut. If, as a saint, your thought process is that you want to be self-employed, you want to start some venture of your own, so that you can make money, you don't have wisdom. Listen to me carefully. Or you're not functioning in wisdom in this aspect, because the first thing that Yahweh did before he did anything called creation was to present us with the characteristic of his called wisdom. That's the first thing. Not a desire to have something. So wisdom said, I was with him, or he presented me as the beginning of his way. Watch this even further. Upon salvation, some of you all say for 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, whatever it is. Upon being saved, this is doctrine, this is called sound doctrine. Upon being saved from sin, from the ways of the world, you are automatically supposed to be endowed with wisdom. Even a babe in Messiah is not supposed to be stupid. Now you may have destiny steps, as I call them. You may have missteps in what you're doing. You may not know certain things, but it doesn't mean you're a stupid person. A babe in Messiah does not despise instruction. I don't mind if you got saved yesterday. A babe in the church of Yeshua HaMashiach does not hate instruction. Are you here? Even if you are a babe in Yeshua, you do not hate instruction. You do not despise wisdom. You do not function based on human wisdom. As a babe in Messiah, your thoughts are about how can you follow instructions and live. Do you possess wisdom? Do you have wisdom? What guides your desires? What instructs your desires? We've just begun. We're going somewhere with this. What guides your desires? What instructs your desires? You're not supposed to say that as a babe in Messiah, you are expected to be silly. And we're not supposed to expect babes who just got saved to act as though they don't have wisdom. Because a babe in Messiah Yeshua is supposed to be someone who is wise enough to understand that they were not saved knowing everything. And they're not in the new body, the newness of life, knowing everything. They are here knowing automatically that they need the wisdom of the elders. Let's flow with this. A babe in Messiah does not go hunting for information. A babe in Messiah who has wisdom seeks counsel, instruction, and the apostles' doctrine. You do not go hunting for information to show how much you know. You demonstrate how much or how well you can obey and how well you can hear. Look at what Wisdom said. I was appointed before the world. I was appointed, said Wisdom, before the world. Although it's beautiful to admire, although it is beautiful to admire the works of Yahweh's hand, the beautiful things of creation, it's more important to understand who was before it. What this? If you only focus on what has been created, of course I always speak to you about how you relate to each other and how you relate, especially as married people and people who are in love, as whatever you call it, and how you interact in reference to relationship with each other. If your focus is on the beauty, or some of you may see a woman, oh, she's beautiful, you want her. You see some girl in the church, you want this girl. Some of you young ladies see a man in the church, you think he's so handsome, oh, I want him, because of how he looks. You admire creation without paying attention to wisdom, which came before creation. What happens is, in most cases that I know, maybe all of them that I'm dealing with now and I've dealt with before, you automatically end up abusing the person for some odd reason. There's some disjointedness, there's some disconnection that takes place. Many people who would commit, oh, they're in love and all of the rest of it, they hit bumps because they have focused on the created thing rather than the wisdom that went into that creation. What this? Did Kiefer not instruct the brothers in the church to say, he said to dwell with your wife according to knowledge? That's important. He didn't say dwell with her according to her beauty and how she looks and how she made you feel. He said you must deal with her according to what, or each other according to what you know. He also spoke to the fact that she is the weaker vessel. Chava, Yahweh, Adam, never called any female Eve. Eve is not a Hebrew term. There is no Hebrew word called Eve. Adam called the female Chava, which speaks to life. When death was announced, he called her name Life, because he possessed the wisdom to know. Mommy, shalom, shalom and blessings. He possessed enough wisdom to know what he should call the one who has the womb. It therefore means, we're going somewhere here, and I'll hurt a few of those who watch and hide. You hennies and fishes, if you're two men, you could never call each other Hava, or you can't call look at a female as a female and say you life. Where's the baby coming from? And you too, especially all men, you sodomites, how could you look at another man and say that's your wife? So where's the baby coming from? Where's life coming from? Men do not possess a womb, so they cannot incubate life. Kiefer said Chava was deceived. As the weaker vessel, she was deceived. He said the man sinned, but she was deceived. And because she is prone to that degree of deception, he said, you must, husbands in the church, deal with her according to what you know, which is you deal with her based on what or how she was made, based on how she was manufactured, based on how she's supposed to function. not based on how she appears. Do you men know how your woman functions? Do you understand how she was made to function? And I would like to remind the sisters on the broadcast that you were never made to lead a man. There is no female in the world who was made to lead a man. That's why the US is going to have some degree of issues here, because for the first time in the history, there's the potential for, well, the second time I should say, maybe before that, where a female would now have a first man if Kamala Harris wins the election. So Kamala will be more powerful than her husband in the US, in the US's sphere of politics. And the US people don't handle that easily, where you have a female leading a man. So she has to call her husband to see how he's doing, because after all, he has to follow his wife. That is contrary to Yahweh's way of functioning. Women are never made to lead men. So you may be upset, you may become discouraged, and then you say that I'm a misogynist and I hate females. I don't hate females, I hate fools. I hate idiocy. I hate the concept that says that women are supposed to be made stronger than men. You're not stronger than a man. And it is proven all over the place. The fastest human being, in reference to the 100-meter dash, which is what we just saw the Olympics, has never been a female. All of the world records in terms of sporting arena, when you compare the performance, the males are always superior to the females. There is no female who's ever lifted any weight in reference to Olympic competitions and world competitions, in terms of championships by weight category, that's heavier than a male. There's no one who's ever run faster in terms of female than a male in reference to comparing the winners of these categories. You know why? Because you're never made to dominate men. Biologically, a female is weaker than a man. So wisdom presented something to us. You know why? Let me ask you all a question. And there's a lag in reference to Facebook's comments coming up, so that's all right. Let me ask you this. Is the church, which is the bride, stronger than Messiah, who is the groom? It's not a stupid question. I don't know when the comments will come on my screen, but let's see what happens. Is the church, which is the bride, stronger than Messiah Yeshua, who is the groom? Let me see if a response will come. Let's test Facebook today and see what's happening. Is the church stronger than Yeshua? Malachi, thank you. I see your comment. The answer is no. Good. So because the church corresponds with the female. Watch creation, what wisdom. At creation of the female, Yahweh ensured that she is weaker than the man, because the church, who is the female, would never be stronger than the Messiah. Are you all here? So in creation of the physical beings, when you get to the church, because he said marriage between a male and a female in the church represents the Messiah and the bride. So the bride is never stronger than the Messiah. How then do we have women who are going to be stronger than men and lead them? Wisdom appointed saints live. That's what we're speaking to today. For you to live, we'll get to that section of Proverbs 30. Proverbs 8. Wisdom is critical. For anything in your life to have life, it must have wisdom. Wisdom must be governing it. Wisdom must have created it. Wisdom must have caused it. If not, it will die. Anything in this life that you want to have life or succeed, it must be born out of wisdom, or it shall die. Yahweh knew that he was going to make a female at some point, And that at some point in the future, the female in the home will be compared to will be called the bride, the females in the church, or would represent the bride of Messiah, and the men will represent the Messiah. So he's never made a female to be stronger than a man. I can still read the TV on. Yahweh has never made a female to be stronger than a man. If you are a man and you run away from a roach in your house, your wife has to go kill it, I have an issue with you. If you're a man and you run and hide when you see a snake in the yard, if you're in a tropical environment, and you hide and you call your wife to kill it, I am ashamed of you. If you're a man and you see a toad or a frog and you have to run, then your wife has to go catch it, I am ashamed of you. Now, I don't know which son I have who does that, but I'm just saying that I am ashamed of any man who runs and calls his wife to solve a problem. If your children are misbehaving, you have to call their mother to deal with them, I am ashamed of you. If your house has a problem, an issue arises in the home, and you put your wife in front to talk, I am also ashamed of you. Girls, Gina, please tell your mom that I'm on a broadcast. Just reach out to her for me, please. You ought never, as a man, to put your wife in front to lead any situation. In every aspect of life, Yahweh presents the man or himself or his son as the one who leads. Do you know why some of your things or areas in your life are dying and lacking and suffering? You married people? I just told you why. Because some of you men are afraid to stand in the strength of a man and present yourself as a man to make a decision that governs sometimes, or will cause sometimes, discomfort or disquiet in your home. But at the end of the day, they understand the point. Wisdom was before. Okay, so let's go down to verse 30 now. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 30. Wisdom says, I was with him, with Yahweh, as someone he could trust. This is amazing. Look at how wisdom now presents her relationship with the Creator, with Yahweh. Wisdom said, I was with him as someone he could trust. This is major. Wisdom describes herself as someone who Yahweh could trust. Have you all got that? Do you understand how significant that statement is? Where wisdom is saying that I was with him as someone who he could trust. Thank you, Pastor Just. A true man is ready to lay down his life to protect his wife and children. Thank you, sir. That's a real man. That's a man. Wisdom said, I was with Yahweh as someone who he could trust. Listen to me. Yahweh, therefore, had confidence. Of course, wisdom is his wisdom. But Yahweh had confidence in his wisdom to know that when he called forth light, because of his wisdom, light would be present. When he called forth or said there must be a separation of darkness and light, light will be present. Darkness will also be present, but there will be a division between the two. Watch this. In his wisdom, Genesis chapter 1 and Genesis chapter 2, in his wisdom, Yahweh did not create the sun before he called light. 4 days after he said light must be, 3 days, as a matter of afterwards, is when the sun was made, the sun. When Yahweh said, light be, there was no sunlight in the earth. So on day number 4 is when you had the sun present. But on day number 1, there was light. There was light. In his wisdom, Yahweh is showing you that you can have light without sun. Come. Many of you seek to work when the sun is up, because that's how you process. And Yeshua said it, men must work while it's day. But in the wisdom of creating the world, on the first day he spoke light when there was no sun. So let me ask you a question. Can you see without light? Without sunlight? Can you see without sunlight? Because if you are a saint who possesses the Spirit of Yahweh, within you will be light. Watch this. Yeshua looked at his disciples and he said to them, you are the light of the world. Not the sunlight. So saints who walk this earth carry light. Therefore, in any environment where there is darkness, saints who possess the Spirit of Yahweh present light. Because wherever you are, light is presented, or light is present. In his wisdom, he spoke to something that was not there. He said, light, be present. Light, be present. Why? The presence of light found in a saint has nothing to do with beams and photons and whatever it is. Of course, apostate knows the physics of it and stuff. No. The light that resonates from within you, the light that radiates from within you, comes not from from the glow that you have on you, but from the glory that's within you. There's a glory that's present within the saint that makes the world know that you shine differently. Do you have it? Can they see it? Because the presence of that light makes you hated by men. The presence of that light makes you despised by men. The presence of that light makes your family say that you're crazy and that you're following mad people and they don't know how you got like this. The presence of that light causes division in families. Oh, some are getting uncomfortable now. I'll say right here. The presence of that light causes this, not this. Hamashiach said, I didn't come to bring peace. It's in the scripture. He said, I didn't come to bring peace. I came to bring a sword, which is division. I came to set a father against his son, a son against his father, a mother against her daughter, son against his brother against brother. Yeshua said there'd be 5 in a house, and 3 all will be against 2, and 2 against 3. When I am present, he said, there will be division even in your households. So how are you so uncomfortable with the direction which your family is headed if you're light? Huh? If you are light, would you not automatically, inevitably cause separation? You tell me. I just told you what the scripture said. Sister Dion, and Brother Brian, shalom and blessings to you all. Once light is present, anybody, and that we got some of y'all uncomfortable now, because as long as light is present, all your family members who are in darkness would not like you. I don't mind how good you were before you got saved. Let me just announce to you all that when an individual is saved, according to Yahweh's saving, because I give my heart to the Lord. Jesus is not salvation. Nobody saved through Jesus. So that's not salvation. When you are saved, according to Yahweh's standard, you will automatically have division in your family. And in any area you find yourself. Because when you are saved, you receive light. Watch this. You also become light. Because he said now, he's called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. When you're called into his marvelous light, you begin to radiate what you've been called into. When you begin to walk in the light that Yahweh has shone on you and shine from within you, you will automatically have division in your household. Light and darkness don't agree. Thank you, Apostle Josh. You will never agree. Don't tell me that you're light, but your siblings and you who are wicked people are okay. You know what happens when you seek to dim the light or dull the light or obfuscate it, hide it altogether. That's the only way you could escape. If you present what you really are in any environment, they'll know you. They will know you. And they will know exactly what you stand for. I marvel at saints. It amazes me to know those who call yourselves saints, who are so okay. You don't realize what happened to some of you. Your Messiah told you. The person who says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, told you that when I come into you, you will have division in your family. He told you this. But you're not seeing it, and it doesn't bother you. Let me go this again. The Messiah Yeshua told you straight. When I come, he said, I didn't come to bring peace. So when I come into you, he said, I will cause division. There'll be 5 of y'all in a house, 3 against 2, 2 against 3. I came to set father against his son, brother against brother. Now hold on. If your Messiah, who is the truth, said that, how are you living a lie? And why are you living a lie? Because he said what happened to you. So is it that you have an understanding with your family members that you just would not mention anything that's called religious? So you will just be at peace? Let's just be honest. Because that's the only way you can survive here. The only way that light and darkness could ever interact, because Messiah said there cannot be any friendship between light and darkness, is when light goes out. And that's exactly how some of y'all who are supposed to be light functioning. You have put out what you are to accept what they are. You have shut out what you are to accept what they are. I'll tell you again, the only way that light and darkness can get along is when light is no longer light. Because darkness does not become light. It never happens. You become what they are. Or you just shut out what you are. You just shut it down and you say nothing. Wsidom said, I was with him as someone he could trust. Saints of Yahweh. Yahweh trusts his wisdom. Apostles of Christ, his brother says he's not sociable. There you go. There'll be all kinds of tags pinned on y'all. The scripture records in Proverbs 8:30, I was with him as someone he could trust. Man, listen. Look at this. For this is for me, every day was purely light. Talking about creation now. So with every day that Yahweh did something, wisdom was delighted in it. I see Bradley here. Bradley, you get uncomfortable. I didn't bring you on my broadcast. Bradley Nooks, you here. So deal with what you hear, right? Good. Every day, 7 days. 7 days, let's talk. For 7 days, wisdom was delighted, because wisdom said every day in this creation process, I was delighted. So when we get to day number 7, wisdom that is in Yahweh was also delighted, because Yahweh rested from his work. And then they went to say, you see, every Saturday is a Sabbath. Really? Really? Yahweh rested on the 7th day. There was no Pope Gregory to give you a calendar by which you must function. That's the first problem you have. There was no Julian calendar, which came from Julius Caesar, by which you must function. There was no Monday, Tuesday, or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, by which you should function either. None of that existed. There would have been a number of days, and on that seventh day, Yahweh rested from the work he was doing. That's what happened. He didn't rest on a Saturday because there was no naming of any day. May I also inform you that Yahweh did not name days of the week either? Just tune out for a second. And when I checked, he said that the sun and the moon would be present, and the light would be for times and seasons. Not Pope Gregory calendar will be for times and seasons. He never said that. He never said a Roman Catholic Pope will direct your actions. He told you exactly what would be for time and season, which would be the moon. So the year for the Hebrew people, the month for the Hebrew people, has everything to do with the moon. Because Yahweh said that. The season for the Hebrew people has to do with the moon that they notice. The feasts for the Hebrew people has to do with the sighting of the new moon. Yahweh had wisdom before creation, and wisdom said that every day was one in which it delighted in the works of Yahweh. Every day. Every day. On day number 6, Yahweh made man. On day number 6, that's why the anti-Messiahism represented by 666 is the number of a man, because man is 6. On the 7th day, he rested. And Adventists get happy again. Bradley, you're going quiet. But let me just help you here. Let me just help you. When Yahweh made man on day 6, on the 7th day he stopped. Because there'll be a man named Yeshua HaMashiach who is fully God, fully man, who will show up and cause rest to come to humanity. Are you in his rest? Now there'll be a day of the week to cause rest to come. On day 6, he did nothing else, because at the creation of man on day 6, he rested. So, because just like with woman, when he made the woman, and the woman is weaker than the man, now when on day 6, when he stopped working, on day 7 as a matter of fact, when he did nothing else, it shows you that a man was going to come. And the second Adam, according to 1 Corinthians 15, gave rest to his people. Are you at rest, or are you disquieted as a saint? I'm coming down to it here. I have to leave you all shortly. Wisdom said, I played in his presence all the time. Just type this for me, please, and ensure Facebook is working. Let me see if it works. Wherever Yahweh is, wisdom is present. Wherever Yahweh is, wisdom is present. Wherever Yahweh is, his wisdom is present. Oh, saints, you shout for money and shout for Hausa. You should be celebrating this. Where is Yahweh? Is he in you? Because we call living stones. We call the habitation of the Lord. He has put his spirit in us. Okay, the comments have begun to work to some extent. For some of y'all, I guess. If Yahweh is in you, what is present? Can I help you? Is Yahweh in you? Because we have to do deductive reasoning here. Is Yahweh in you? If Yahweh is in us, if Messiah is in us, the hope of glory, if his spirit dwells in us and we are his holy habitation according to scripture, what is in you then? Huh? What is in you? If his spirit is in you, which means he's present within you, don't you know that your bodies are a temple of the Lord? What's in y'all, saints? So why are you so afraid to exhibit what you have, which is wisdom? I'll tell you what the problem is with some of you, quite a few of y'all. The problem is that the wisdom you have is contrary to the wisdom of the world. And you have more respect for the wisdom of the world than you do for the wisdom of Yahweh, which is in you. That's your problem. You have more value for the world's wisdom. So you would tell people, you must be wise. According to what? If evil is present and you silent, you tell people you have to be wise, you have to know how you're talking. So what do you have? Yeah, let me holiday and go home, as the old preachers would say. If the world presents you what is wicked and you are quiet, what do you have? And then you advise somebody, you have to be wise. So what do you have? Whose wisdom are you counseling yourself according to? Whose wisdom do you counsel yourself according to? You tell me, please. If Yahweh tells you that righteousness cannot be spoken in silence, and you silent when there's wickedness, whose wisdom is guiding you? Huh? If Yeshua HaMashiach told you, if the Messiah, Ha simply means the Mashiach Messiah, if the Messiah told you that you'll be hated for his name's sake, and you don't want to say the Messiah's name is only Yeshua, whose wisdom do you have? If he said to you that your own family will be against you, and you don't want your family to be against you, whose wisdom is counseling you? Oh, did you ever see Yeshua say, after all is my mother, and after all is my mama, and after all is my daddy? Did you see Yeshua say that? That after all, I know that she doesn't believe in Yeshua, but after all is my mama, so it really doesn't matter. We get along well. Did you see Yeshua saying that? Did you see Yeshua saying that you would be accepted by the world because after all it's your mother? When he was talking and teaching the people, and they said, your mother's here to you. And your brothers, he said, who is my mother? And who are my brothers? He told them, those who do the will of my Father. If you come to interrupt me when I'm functioning, you're not my mother. That's what he said. How do you get along so well with those who are not of the fold? How? Who is my mother? Who are my brothers? Wisdom is present. Wherever Yahweh is, wisdom is present. Therefore, if Yahweh is in a saint, wisdom is found in every saint. If Yahweh is present in any saint, wisdom will be demonstrated by that saint. If you don't demonstrate wisdom, then you're in rebellion. And now I'll show you where we have some issues to deal with here. Wisdom said in verse 31, I was playing everywhere on this earth. Everywhere. Wherever there was creation, wisdom said, I was playing everywhere. That's how happy wisdom is presenting herself as. That the works of Yahweh makes wisdom happy. Are you the work of his hand? That's what he called you all. I'm just telling you what it said here. So if we are the work of his hand, is wisdom happy with you? Apostle Joshua was almost stoned. Right? When at the mother's funeral, he said, who's my mother? Who's my brother? Oh, war break. We are the work of Yahweh's hand, saints. So wherever his hand worked, or wherever his voice worked, wisdom was playing with it. Wisdom was happy to be there. Is wisdom happy to be found in you? Let's wind down. Verse number 33. Let's keep 32. No, let's go to 32. We have to go there. Therefore, or it says, verse 31 reads, playing everywhere on the earth, on his earth, and delighting to be with humankind. Wisdom at creation was delighted to be with humankind. Do you hear me? Wisdom at creation was delighted to be with humankind. Oh, there's some doctrines that may be heavy for some of you who've never heard it, but I'll present it to you anyway. Wisdom, when human beings were created, the first at creation, on day 6, wisdom was delighted to be with them. Why? Is Yeshua HaMashiach not called the Lamb of Yahweh, slain before the foundation of the world? Wisdom said, I was delighted to be with humankind. Oh my God. Woo! Is Yeshua HaMashiach not described in your Bible as the Lamb who was slain from the foundation of the world? Bless you, Zion, exactly says. We're not afraid of mortals, man. We're bigger than that. Yeshua HaMashiach is described as the Lamb of Yahweh, who's slain before the foundation of the world. So before creation was manifested, Yeshua HaMashiach was slain. Before the manifestation of Calvary, before the manifestation of the Lamb who was slain at Pesach, Passover, before he came, behold, said Yochanan, the Lamb who takes away the sins of the world. Before that, he was slain. Wisdom was delighted in humankind. That's what it said. You know why? Because wisdom knew that the presence of these two humankind would lead to the Lamb coming. Wisdom delighted in humankind because wisdom knew that this humankind right here, did you see before me, Adam, would cause the second Adam to come. Y'all stay with me. Wisdom is delighted when purpose is manifested. The purpose for the first Adam was to have the passport made for the second Adam to come. If Yeshua is the Lamb slain before the foundation of the world, there has to be a cause for the Lamb to be slain. You can't slay a lamb without sin. No lamb could be slain in the absence of sin. So wisdom was delighted to see. Remember, before creation, wisdom was with Yahweh. So once Yahweh began to work, and then the 6 came, man is present. Once the first man is present, it gives room for the second man to come, which is the second Adam, according to 1 Corinthians 15. That second Adam is of the spirit, not of the earth natural. The second Adam is of the spirit, spiritual being who produces life. The first Adam is of the earth natural, which will cause death. Wisdom was not excited in Adam's presence because he was a smart person. Wisdom was excited or delighted in his presence because it made room for purpose to be fulfilled. Watch this. You must never be regretful and sorrowful over people who serve purpose in your life. I don't care what they came to do. Some people came to hurt you to make you cut sense. Some people came to hate you to make you recognize who should love you. Some people are sent to abuse you for you to learn what your purpose is. Because some of y'all have to be abusing to understanding what you're made to do. Some folk would have to be at war with you so that you can know that Yahweh is your shalom. In the absence of war, you will never know who he is to you. You will only know his shalom when there's war, when it is quiet. Some people are made to hurt you so you can understand the purpose of healing. He's your Yahweh Rapha. He's the one who heals. Wisdom delights whenever purpose is fulfilled. Do not be upset. Do not be disheartened. Don't be disquieted. And don't be angry about people, what they do to you. They're supposed to do it. If you are a child of Yahweh functioning in wisdom, then every person has a purpose, even if they hurt you. Some of y'all need to send some people some thank you messages and shake their hand and say, I bless Yahweh for you. If it hadn't been for you, if you didn't leave me, I would never know I could produce so much. If you didn't divorce me, I didn't know I could have been a homeowner by myself. If you didn't leave me, I didn't know I could have a business. If you didn't walk away from me, how would I know that within me was the ability to do so many things? If you didn't rob me in business, I would never know I had the ability to produce one of my own. If you didn't fire me from the job, I had never known I could own a business of my own. That's what you need to tell people, that I'm so grateful. Watch this. And you know you're all in love. Somebody tell that man or woman, thank you for breaking my heart, because you made me realize that I have one. Thank you for breaking my heart. At least you made me know that I had one. So now it could be healed by somebody else. Oh, I'm so grateful that you broke my heart. Because you didn't know I had one to be broken in the first place. Wisdom. Wisdom. This one might be hard for someone else to swallow. It took right in your throat right here. Some need to let your child know, thank you so much for showing me your rebellious side, because when I saw the rebel in you, I didn't know I could obey Yahweh to this extent. If you didn't have that test in your children, you will never know how much you love your God. In everything we give thanks, Apostle Josh. In everything we give thanks. So even for those who make us realize that you love me. Oh, you want me to give you scripture for that too? Let me give it to you. He said, if you love your son or your daughter or your mother or anybody more than me, that's in Matthew 10. He said, you are unworthy. You will never be mine. That's what Yeshua is telling you all. If you prefer your child over him, he said, you are lost. That's what unworthy means. If you love your mother more than the Messiah, if your mother's lies and wicked ways are so important to you that you can't speak truth, even if she walks away, you are a lost person. You say Yeshua, but you're lost. You talk by Yahweh, but you're lost because Yeshua, I didn't say it. The Gospel according to Matthew chapter 10 records it, that you are unworthy of me. I didn't say it because it's not me he's talking about. Yeshua said that you are unworthy of him. Now I just said, please elaborate on what can be deemed one loving more than him. Oh, thank you so much. I just said it. So someone can present to you a behavior that requires or demands a particular response. So I'll explain what Nadia is asking me to do, and then we go home. If somebody comes to you, for example, and says, you know what? Your mother comes to you. Let's use your mother, or your father, or your brother, or your sister. Comes and says to you, I know that Yeshua is the name of the Messiah, but you could say Jesus too. Jesus is not a problem. I mean, after all, it's the same person we're talking about. They are that bold, they're that blunt, and they tell you that. There's a required response. And that required response is not, yeah, you're right. You know, you could be right. It's worthy of considering. That's not required response. The required response is there's no other name given under heaven whereby men must be saved. There's no other name. So it can't be any other name. The required response is to correct that person's error. If the person then tells you, I don't care what you say. You're on the right. You know that one, right? I don't care what you say. I will stick them in Jesus. Once they do that, there's another required response, which is to therefore separate yourself from that arrogant, disrespectful person who has forsaken the truth. If your response is to gravitate, to hold on to say, all right then, essentially, I will suppress the truth to remain in relationship with you, you are unworthy of the Messiah. If your child is a rebel, a disgraceful, disrespectful terror, and you hold on to them, because after all is my child, and you hold on to them, you are unworthy of the Messiah. Because I'm telling you what he said. If you love your child, your mother, or your father beyond the expected righteous response, you are a lost person. Because only a lost person could do that. And actually, it's important I ask without explanation because we get it in the text. Only a dead person would be willing to function in that manner. I don't mind who you are. I don't mind what relationship you have. If you despise my God to the point whereby you disrespect my God and you show me that you have no care for the truth, I don't deal with you. Now we could do normal business together. We could have normal basic human interactions in reference to if you want to shop and I need something, I go buy it from you. Simple. That's not a spiritual connection. But we have no friendship. There is no one from whom I will not turn if you despise the way and you disrespect the way. I'm dealing with you. Well, you all know me by now. I tell you all the time, and I'm just maybe different from most of you. Anybody, I don't care who you are, anyone who hates my father, I hate them. And I'm not talking about Yahweh here. I'm speaking to Bishop Errol, the Elder Errol. If you hate my daddy, I will never deal with you. So Peter Sam is saying, my confusion comes from the way wisdom is spoken about. Is wisdom a spirit? Is wisdom knowledge or information? Thank you for the questions, Peter, but if you're a saint of Yahweh, saints are never confused. Wisdom never confuses anybody. So I take it that you're not. In reference to being one of the way. Wisdom is not a spirit. Wisdom is a characteristic of Yahweh. Divine wisdom is found in divinity, which is a characteristic that Yahweh possesses. And that divine wisdom is not knowledge or information. What's this? It is knowing how to use both and what to do with both. When you are a wise person, knowledge is something to gain. And you also know what to do with what you have gained. There are people, in basic human terms, Peter, there are people who are wise enough to have knowledge that if a car tire is flat, you don't drive it. That's knowledge. Or the tire will be destroyed. That's knowledge. That's information. And yet there are some folk who will watch a car tire being flat and drive it, hoping that nothing will happen to the tire. Knowledge says that if a car, they will tell you that the car tire is underinflated, and that is where you have the most blowouts. When a wheel is too soft, it blows out fast, and if it's too hard. That's knowledge. That's information. Yet some folk will look at their car tire being uninflated and drive it. And then say, I don't know the wheel will blow out. That's folly. That's foolishness. So wisdom is not just knowing something. It's having the ability to use that knowledge effectively. I had fun the other day. We're looking at a pack of cigarettes somewhere. On the pack of cigarettes has it written, with cause slow and painful death. This is written in a big yellow tag on a pack of cigarettes. This smoking will cause a slow and painful death. Now, for the life of me, what will I be doing with a cigarette in my hand? If I could read and see that this thing will cause a slow and painful death, and those who made it, because of the lawsuit, of course, had to put it there. Now, if you show me this knowledge, and you give me this much information, that if I keep smoking this thing here, I will die slowly and painfully. How am I still smoking it? How am I still smoking it? Now, here's where the fool comes in. Because the fool will lay in a hospital bed with their throat or their lungs like a brick. And then would say that I wish, if I could be healed. Come pray for me, Pastor. I'm dying of lung cancer. And some of y'all run to the hospital and start rubbing them with oil and start praying. And in Jesus' name, I command you to live. No, die. Me. I don't pray for people who smoke this rest of death. You will die. You all mad? Let me tell you again. And you could grab this part right here in your video, in your little screen break reels, and put a reel up to tell you what I said. If you have read on a pack of cigarettes, smoking will cause slow and painful death, and then you call me to the hospital to pray for you because your lungs got like brick and you're going to die, I am not praying for you. You will die because you're a fool. And I'll pray for fools. Now let me show you from the book why I said that. You ready? Okay. Verse 34. Happy is the person who listens to me. Oh, verse 34. Verse 34. Happy is the person who listens to me. That's in your Bible. Wisdom says that if you listen to her, you will not be sorrowful. Why are so many saints sad? Why are so many saints depressed? If wisdom says that when you listen to her, you're happy, why are you sad? I know you all got sense. I know you have enough sense to reason what I'm saying to you. Wisdom said, happy is the person who listens to me. So if wisdom tells you when you smoke this cigarette, you will die a slow and painful death, and you smoking till you're ready to die, who must pray for you? Me? No. Nope. Not me. Let me give it to you now. Who watches daily at my gates and waits outside my doors. It means that whenever you need wisdom, you must be continuously waiting to receive it. You must never say, well, I can't wait for this wisdom, I'm going somewhere else. So what this is saying to you, even if you don't see wisdom present somewhere, wait until it shows up. I need to deliver some of y'all here this afternoon. Some of y'all don't have patience to wait for wisdom. So you text some leader of the ministry, or you call somebody, they didn't answer the phone, you ready to make a decision. Or some of y'all are so eager that you run and buy something right away. You run and buy it right away, and then you want wisdom to help you to deal with it. No. When you have wisdom, you have sense to know that if I can't see my way, I will seek light. I'll speak light, meaning I will have guidance. I'll have direction. I'll be able to see what to do. But you can't wait. So you decide you can cuss your husband and carry on like a fool. And then the man walks out and gone. And then you call me for wisdom to say, Apostle, I just wonder if I'm right or wrong. Is it okay to cuss my husband? Where is he? He gone. Apostle, please tell him to come back. Me? Did you take a second to actually find some information as to how should you deal with the matter? No, because you can wait. So with your rash mouth, you've destroyed your house, because a wise woman builds her house up, but the foolish one tears it down with her hands. That's in the book too. That's written in Proverbs. That's written. A wise person builds her house up, but a fool will pull her whole house down with her hand. So when you pull your house down and it's destroyed, you're calling me to pray for family reconciliation? No! Because I'll show you why I wouldn't do it. I'm giving you all of the reasons why I don't pray for certain things. You go find Pastor Jesus and pray. Not me. Not this creature. I will show you why I don't pray for certain people, and I never present myself to counsel them. I'll show you from the book. Wisdom says, the person who listens to me, meaning you come to wisdom now, you are happy. If you wait at the gate for wisdom, you're also happy because you're waiting for it. You're not quick to run away and do your own thing. If you wait outside the door, you're also happy because you know wisdom will open this door and talk to me. So you're not impatient. Watch this, write this. A wise person is patient in the absence of wisdom. And it may sound strange to you. Maybe it would. A wise person is patient in the absence of wisdom. You will never hurry to do anything. Nobody can rush you to make a decision if you don't have wisdom on it. Tell them to wait. When it comes to money decisions, that's what I love Pastor Mel. As one who deals with accounts and stuff for the ministry for me, I don't play with certain things. As well as my other accountant, I don't play with that. I am prepared to wait. Apostle just says the scripture, it's better to live on the rooftop than to dwell in a house with a cantankerous woman. A contentious woman will drive you crazy. If you don't have the wisdom, do not act. Don't move. Wait on wisdom. It will always show up at the right time. Don't rush. Alright, so let me give you the book. Verse number 35. Key verse. Proverbs 8:35. For he who finds me finds life. I'm reading the book now. This is the benediction part. He who finds me finds life and obtains the favor of Yahweh. He who finds me, says wisdom, finds life and obtains the favor of Yahweh. Anything done in the absence of wisdom does not have Yahweh's favor on it. You want to know why a business fails and is failing? I just told you. Anything done in the absence of wisdom doesn't have Yahweh's approval. Never has it. Anything done in the absence of wisdom does not have Yahweh's approval. So I don't care how flourishing you think your business is, it will fall, it will collapse. I don't mind how nice you think your relationship is going, it will inevitably collapse. Anything that you get or you do in the absence of wisdom will fail. And I'll show you the next verse, verse 36. Oh boy. All who hate me. Wisdom says that all who hate me love death. Someone just called me, so I got bumped. Can you all hear me? Somebody just called me. I got disconnected. But let's see if it's back. Is it back? Because I just read the last... okay. Wisdom said, whoever misses me, if you miss wisdom, if you hate wisdom, she said, you love death. I wish that y'all could hear that. I'm back. Good. If you hate wisdom, you love death. Oh, I didn't say that. Anybody in the church, I don't care where you are, if you hate wisdom, you love death. It means you love the failure you encounter. If you like to smoke, and wisdom says you'll die, and you smoke, it means you love death. Why must I pray to take you from what you love? If you love to be contentious as a woman, it means you love the death of your marriage. Why must I pray for your marriage if you love to destroy it? If you love to punch women as a man, it means you love to be alone. So I'm not going to advise somebody to go back with you. The scripture says, if you hate me, you love death. If you love to spend your money wildly, you love being broke, because a fool and his money will soon part. A fool and his money will soon separate. If you are lazy, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little falling on your hand, that's exactly how poverty will come upon you. So you broke because you're lazy and I must pray for you to get money? No. No. So this is where I will leave you, saints. I have to travel. But I had to present this to you all. If you do things that demonstrate to me or any leader of the church that you don't like wisdom, I am instructing them today to not even waste the time to counsel you. If I counsel you that you should behave a certain way as a man, you don't do it, don't call my phone. If I counsel you as a female, as how you should conduct yourself, and you don't want to do it, do not waste my time. And don't waste the time of any leader. If I counsel you as a parent, according to what you just read, and you hate wisdom, your child will die, you lose whatever it is, don't bother me. As I said, you can make a reel out of this and say, imagine this one is a man of God, and he's supposed to be an apostle and talk like this. Yes! You make a reel and say that. I am not praying for you. If you drive at 180 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour on a bumpy road and the car flip you in a trench, don't call my phone and tell me that your husband just crashed if you can pray for him. Who? Me? No. I don't pray for foolish and stupid people. I will never do it. And you will not be an exception to the rule. I will not pray for you if you're stupid. If you sit every day and you eat pizza after pizza, Burger King after Burger King, McDonald's after McDonald's, you just eat up a storm. All the fatty food, you want barbecue, your fries every day, and you just eat and eat and eat. And you eat and sit and watch the TV, and you start going from size to a size, to another size, to another size. Then you got so big that you're out to the phone. See that? They can't even find you anymore. When you sit in front of the phone, part of your body can't be seen anymore because you got so wide. And then you tell me, please pray for you. Because the doctor say you got heart problem, die. Because you hate wisdom. And once you hate wisdom, you love death. So I'm simply allowing you to be with what you love. If you hate wisdom, I'm allowing you to be with what you love. It's that simple. If you hate wisdom, I am allowing you to be with what you love, which is death. He who hates wisdom loves death. It is written. And I will never go against what is written. Not me. If it is written and you love death, you'll be with what you love. It's that simple. It is that simple. Blessings abound to you. I have to leave you. I do love you all, saints. Much love, much appreciation. May the peace of Yahweh be with you. And remember that wisdom is appointed to the saints so that you could live. That's written. Wisdom was appointed for life to be present. If wisdom is in you, then you should not have death surrounding you. Love you all and do well.